building apps the way I was doing before, that is up until yesterday when I really sat down to think about it, would have definitely ruined my life. So for you to understand this, let me tell you how my life is right now, right? So I have a regular day job that I go to every day from 8:30 to about 5:30. I lead a team and write code and have to do a lot of meetings during the day and direct some things. I also have a YouTube channel that I run, which is what you are watching right now. And if you know much about YouTube, or even if it's a little, you would have probably heard other creators talking about how you spend a lot of time, right, and effort focusing on YouTube to get the results that you want, right? You need to watch other people's videos to understand what really attracts people. You would need to know how to frame thumbnails. You need to know how to design your thumbnails, rather. You would need to know how to write your titles. You would need to know how to write your intro to capture attention within the first few seconds. And this is a lot of work, a lot of learning to do, and I'm doing that. Then I have another set of responsibilities. I have 4 apps that I'm working on: Kestrel AI, Push Reports, Godot Clock, and Wiser Prompts, right? Wiser Prompts is even live, right? It's a Chrome extension, it's live. But because of the challenge that I am having, or this particular challenge that I've been unable to resolve, Wiser Prompts backend has been down. So I use Supabase on the back end of Wiser Prompts. And the way Supabase works is that to conserve resources, if you have not used your app, or if nobody has used your app within the last 7 days or thereabout, they would, spin it down so that resources can be focused on the apps that actually are being used. So at some point, I think they even completely pause the instance. So if a customer comes to use your app without you knowing that the app has been paused, they will just be getting errors or no responses at all from the backend, right? So that is something similar that is happening on Wiser Prompts right now, and I need to resolve that. I need to move the backend away into my AWS EC2 instance that I have. But I'm unable to do that. Why? Because I have my job, I have my YouTube channel, and I have 4 other apps, and I'm juggling all of these things. 4 different applications, all of them at 90% completion rate, but none of them is actually done. And this is because I keep juggling this thing, and the multitasking is killing me. It's not working, right? So it just looks like some other part of my life that are actually important are surviving on vibes, right? Which is not helpful. For instance, my health. If you're healthy, the health gives you strength. So physical strength, mental strength. And then the mental strength and the physical strength that you have is what you now use to make wealth, right? To work, to earn money, to create apps, to create businesses. And if I'm neglecting that, then I'm putting myself in a very bad spot. And I've come to recognize that. I've come to realize it. And I don't think I want to continue juggling things the way I'm juggling things right now. It seems very inefficient. It seems like I get to do a lot of things, but I don't get to get result on any one particular thing because I don't really get to the end. So the lie that I catch myself telling myself is that I'm doing this for my family, and that if I succeed at it, then my family would have a good life and they would not have anything to bother about, right? But what really happens, or what is really happening when you look at it, the family gets even less time than the side projects, right? Because I'm focused on work for 8 hours. By the time I come home, I'm focused on the side projects for many more hours. And then, YouTube comes along because I have to write scripts. I'm trying to reach 100 videos within 6 months. So I have to write scripts, record videos, and within the spare time I would have, try to edit those videos so that they can come up on YouTube as well. So when I say I'm grinding or I'm working hard because I want the family to do well, yes, I want the family to do well, but is it just because I want the family to do well, right? And this is a question that I think most of us indie founders need to ask ourselves, right? Are we just doing it for the family, or we're doing it somewhere for our own ego, for our own ambition, right? For our own desires? Because if the family is suffering and they can't get your attention, they can't get your time, they are competing with all these other things to get your time, then something is suffering that might backfire in the future. So for instance, you hear the story of somebody like Steve Jobs and how he had a strained relationship with his daughter for a long time, until at some point he tried to mend that relationship. it's a real factor that happens because he had given so much time and commitment and focus to the work and the business he was running rather than family. And I know, yes, all of us celebrate him today for the products he produced, the way he ran Apple, and the way he brought it back to life, and his ideologies and the way he went about doing things and how he has transformed the world. But the real legacy that I personally feel we would all live in this world is there's nothing more important than life, right? And there's nothing more important than a life that has been placed in your hand for you to nurture, for you to raise, which is children, right? So if you go focusing on the business, focusing on, on the career, and try to get all of these things at the risk of the family, then many years down the line, when the career is gone, when the business is gone, or you've made all the money, then the attention turns to the family now. But a lot of things are strained, and you have to start fixing things, right? It might probably be too late at that point. So a good example I can tell here is the story of someone like Alex Hormozy, which is somebody that most of us know, right? He's a big entrepreneur, and he and Leila, his wife, had to make a huge sacrifice of not having family, as in having kids, right? Because they wanted to reach their goals. But even for Alex, the bill has come calling, right? He and Leila have made so much money. Now they want to have kids, and they recently spoke about how, you know, they they tried to do an IVF or something like that, and it failed, and it affected the wife, and she had to, do a surgery because of the consequence of, maybe complications around the whole thing. I don't know, but they tried to have a child and it didn't succeed. But luckily now they are actually having a child. They've announced that they're going to be having a child soon, which is a good thing, and congrats to them. But then you see that, I mean, Alex was a fierce proponent of the sacrifice of, leaving certain things out and just focusing. But then he's coming full circle now, which is what can happen to all of us, right? We change every day, we learn every day. And as we grow, we probably grow to heights that we now realize that, okay, this is the true essence of life. This is what life is about. There is no value, no real value in life if you don't impact people in this way, or if you don't do these things, right? I mean, he's making so much money, right? So who would all that money be for when they get old and don't need to work anymore? Or if they were to pass, they would need to have an heir to pass all of those resources, all of that hard work, all of that, sacrifice, the results or the benefits of all of that sacrifice too, which is why they are now trying to have a child. So, but it brings me back to the earlier conversation. There are things that are more valuable than the things we pursue. We pursue money, we pursue, the success and everything. And I'm not saying it's bad, because I want them badly too. But what I'm saying is we compromise some of the things that have more, I'd say, eternal value, right? Some of the things that have better value for these things that have very good value too, but I mean, not as high in comparison, right? Not as consequential as some of these other things. Things like family, things like our health. I mean, if I compromise my health, or if somebody compromises his health, I don't want to use myself as the example, but if somebody compromises his health and leads to the point where he has critical health issues and maybe passes on, whatever he had been struggling, hustling, sacrificing for becomes nothing. It goes to naught, because now he's not even there to enjoy it, or he probably didn't even achieve it at all because he risked so much of his health in trying to get there. So personally, I now feel I need to go about finding a way to balance my life around these things: family, health, and the work that I have. But I know every successful person has said work-life balance is an unthinkable thing, or if you're looking for success, work-life balance is not something you should aim for, because you will not have it, right? So the question is not having a 50-50 portion of time split between work and maybe family, right? Splitting my time 50-50 between work and family. That is not what I'm suggesting here. But what I'm suggesting is giving quality time, right? For the 1 hour that I have that is free, that I decide to give to the family, am I giving absolute maximum attention? Or I'm still having my laptop on my lap while I'm talking with my wife or playing with my daughter, right? So I think that quality time can make serious difference. And I want to start trying to give that quality time to the family. So the goal is to make sure that the family is not getting the leftover of me, right? The guy that is exhausted at 11 p.m. and just wants to sleep, right? And then now has time to play for 5 minutes with his daughter and talk for 2 minutes with his wife. No, that's not what I want to be. That's not what I want to do, right? They shouldn't get the leftover of me. They should get good quality time that they can always recount and come back to. And the crazy thing about this kind of multitasking lifestyle is that you get into the groove of doing a lot of things at the same time, or doing a lot of things, not really in parallel, but trying to jump into a lot of things, right? Especially when you are somebody that likes challenges and likes intriguing or interesting challenges, right? For me, for instance, once I have an idea and it seems like something that is interesting, I just want to get it off the ground as soon as possible, do something about it so that I can interact with it, make it physical as possible. But that also means that I would likely leave an app that is already at 99% to try to get this other app to 60% or 80% that I would want to, right? And then during that time, something comes up, a conversation somewhere, an idea somewhere, maybe from the news, wherever, something comes up that makes me realize, oh, something else would also be a challenge, is a challenge that I could solve, or I could help the world, or I could help my people, or I could do it for just one customer. Then I try to build that too. So this affects everything. It affects even for me, the apps that I'm working on. I think the only thing that hasn't really been impacted is the YouTube channel because I tend to keep going with that. I tend to make the videos and just post, Um, but yeah, I've realized that it has an effect, right? Even on the building of the apps because Go to Clock, for instance, the only thing that is holding that down is that I've not submitted certain things to Apple, right? And I have just left it there and I've moved on to something else. Wiser prompts is there, and I mean, I've spoken about the backend issue with wiser prompts that I need to resolve. Kestrel AI is there, it's at 90%. All I have to do is integrate the payments and be sure that it works properly, and then I can ship it out. And push reports is there, which is largely done. So yeah, the whole multitasking just makes you feel busy. Made me feel busy. Made me feel like I was always doing something. I was pursuing a goal. I'm a driven person. I'm always trying to get something. And yes, I'm a driven person. But then I realized that the energy is dispersed, dispersed. I'm African. Deal with it. The energy is dispersed, right? So let me give an example of what this looks like. So you have you have your attention, which is one thing that you have, but now you have to spread it in 5 different directions, which means instead of giving one thing 100%, you now have to give five things 20% each, right? So it's a problem, and I think the better thing to do is to pick one thing, focus on it, trash it out, get to the end of it, and then deliver it, then move on to the next stuff, right? And at least maybe start doing marketing and all of the other things, but at least on the code side, on the product side, the app is done, right? I mean, I can't do a YouTube video and then just stop halfway somewhere and throw the video to YouTube or just leave it on my laptop. That would make it inconsequential. It would be as if I had done nothing, right? So that is the same kind of situation I find myself with the multitasking thing, right? With juggling many apps, the job, the YouTube. And I believe it's affecting everywhere. I believe it's even the job, it was affecting my job until I recently recalibrated and started picking things up and focusing and trashing them out within the time block because my mind would just jump around to different things, right? Within the time block, I pick things, I drop, trash them out, and then I move out and I move on. And I know that I have done this, it's done, it's sealed, completed. Then I move on to the next thing. Yeah, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is planning the sacrifice, right? Making the sacrifice a decision rather than something that just happened. For instance, for Leila and Alex, deciding not to have a child or children is a decision that is stuck with for years until they achieved what they wanted. So for me, for instance, I'm going to, I mean, I don't know, not yet, but I'll figure out how to make sure that the sacrifice will be a decision. I would look at my life critically and say, okay, I'm not going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing this, or this is how I'm going to shuffle or plan out the time so that everything gets a good block or a good chunk of time. It may mean moving slower, I understand, but then ensuring that balance, or at least trying to maintain the balance, even if it's like 60-40, but it's happening, is better than, 100 and 0. So the third thing I'm going to be doing is prioritizing my health over almost any other thing, because if I'm down, if I'm not here, I mean, the apps don't get built, the YouTube channel won't receive videos, my job won't see me, there'll be nobody to do the job, or I mean, they'll probably hire someone. So I understand that now. So my health is priority. It's going straight into my calendar. It's always going to be top priority. There is nothing that is going to be like, this is urgent, don't work out, or this is urgent, don't take care of yourself in a certain way. Health gets the topmost position right now. And I think I like a video I saw from Maklu, how he went from um, a pot-bellied guy, slim guy, to a ripped guy right now, right? So I also have some pot belly. I'm probably just going to put myself in that mode and make sure that I move my health from a position of it's just there, I'm just living, to the position of, look, I'm living a good life because I've taken these intentional decisions about my health. So yes, I'll go jogging, do the press ups. I've already started all of that. Go jogging, do the press ups, do the star jumps, and all of those other things. I'm also thinking of building a workout app to help me track, myself. That's a different story, because I mean, everything I build is things that I are from things that I need or things that directly affect me. So I'll build a workout app the way I'm thinking about it, to make sure that I stay consistent, but not just consistent. I build on that progress and do some other things. So yeah, keep tabs, just follow on, and we'll do it together. So I don't claim to know all the solutions. These are the things that I'm trying to put in place to see that I juggle all of these things successfully, right? So I'd like to hear how you plan out your time, plan out your days, probably around work, around building your apps, around family, if you have a wife and kids, and you know all the other things. If you have multiple apps, if you have a YouTube channel like me, and all the other things you're doing, I'd like to hear how you plan that out. I'll hear how you execute on it, and how you program your life so that you stay sane and stay healthy and stay fit, and have a good family and still be able to deliver on your apps and the work you want to do. Yeah, so this is all of it for my conversation today. I believe that this would have, I mean, the way I was building, the way I was working would have ruined me if I had continued that way. I was already really feeling tired, really, really feeling tired. Like most of the time, I was feeling tired, I was feeling exhausted. Hopefully, I'll get someone like Mark Lou to come and talk to us. I don't know if I can, but if you know him, you can DM me, so maybe we'll do an intro so I can bring him on to talk to us about how he goes about some of these things, because you need someone who is experienced, right? I know that Peter Levels, for instance, makes sure he keeps his life really trim, really, really slim. He doesn't even have to maintain most of his apps like that often. Once he builds it, he lets it go and then moves on to something else, or just go relax. I mean, but yeah, Peter Levels is on a different level. You get that? Peter Levels is on a different level. And I think he's doing 2.5 million or 3 million a month, or 3 million a year, thereabout. I think around 250 or 200,000 a month. So he's on a different level. And yeah, shout out to him. But let's talk about how we can get this done. And I look forward to hearing from you. Please drop your comments in the comment section. Tell me how you're doing that, and probably I'll get a better view from you than what I've already said.